The People's Democratic Party in Abia State has called on the State House of Assembly to immediately swear in the member-elect of the Abia North State constituency, Honorable Aaron Ozodike. Recall that after several months, the Speaker of the House, Emmanuel Emeruwa, has failed to inaugurate the PDP member after his mandate was restored by the Appeal Court in Lagos. The court has sacked Destiny Nwagu of the Labour Party. Speaking on the matter, the Abia State chairman of PDP, Allwell Asiforo Okere, in a statement issued on Saturday by the acting publicity secretary and vice chairman of the party, Elder Abraham Amma, instructed the PDP caucus in the State Assembly to ensure that Aaron Ozodike is inaugurated as member. According to the statement, the directive followed due consultations with members of the State Working Committee of the party. Abia PDP is convinced that there are no legal obstacles preventing his inauguration following the issuance of his certificate of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission on December 13, 2023, which is the only requirement for his inauguration, the publicity secretary says. Barrister Sims, now this is not the first time that the issue of Honorable Aaron Ozodike has come to the press. He personally has also called out the speaker, who has clearly refused to swear him in after Appeal Court has, given him victory and certificate of return has been issued. Now, what is going on? I mean, this is another state in recent times where the speaker has refused to swear in members of the House. What is your take on this?
Well, it's clear impunity. Very vexatious impunity. And, scant regard for, the judicature and its pronouncements. And people who feel that they are political behemoths and they are alpha and omega in politics by virtue of their positions. Otherwise, the two obstacles, like rightly pointed out by whoever that spoke there, is number one, you must be seen to have won an election, and that election was challenged. It got to the highest court for that category of election, which is the appeal court, because appeal, that is where this legislative, whatever stops now. And the court, with the highest power and jurisdiction, has said that he is the winner of that particular seat, and the INEC should, give him that certificate of return. Now, these two things or conditions have been fulfilled. Now, the consequential swearing-in ceremony, which is not even as it is, within the powers of the House of Assembly Speaker to delay. He can't delay it. But you find that he's delaying it and nothing is happening. These are the questions we have asked in our legal jurisprudence. Because Lord Denning has said long time ago that a court, gives an order, and the order of court must be biting, having a teeth of a lion to devour once that order has left the courtroom. And if court makes an order or gives a judgment, it's not being obeyed or delayed, or maybe they choose the one to obey and the one not to obey, then you now ask a very, very fundamental question that we have asked as students of jurisprudence, especially as it pertains to, the Nigerian template. We have asked a question, and unfortunately, this has been the bane of most of the problems we have. And I want to say that I'm comparing this situation to the reason why prison remand custodies are congested today. The reason is not far-fetched. a court sends somebody, you know, to remand custody. Another court gives another that he be released. You find that those who are supposed to implement the order sit on it and they do nothing about it. And the court where that particular order emanates, for instance, in this court of appeal, are the judges not reading what is happening in Abia State, that the judgment, court of appeal, three justices sat, the second highest court in Nigeria, gave an order or a judgment that this man is the right people and should be sworn in. Then the order is being disobeyed with impunity. Then the judges sit down. They have not even asked themselves. They know that the order or judgment we gave last time has not been obeyed. To make consequential orders. They sit down and just assume like the sheep, and they don't, once they pretend, they just look straight forward. They don't look the other way. None of them could even stand up to say no. If my judgment, if the judgment of the judex cannot be obeyed, then I have no right sitting down here, like what happened in Pakistan, where governments were with impunity, were disobeying their orders, when they give orders, the bench said, come on, we can't continue like this. For 6 months, they went, judges came out on the street, lawyers on the street. I said, then why are we sitting down there? If we give judgment and order, then people, those who are sitting there, who are another arm of government like we are, we say they will not implement it. But come on. But when themselves give us order, we will not go to work. So who gave them the supremacy? No, they said, no, it cannot happen. For 6 months, they did not go. They were on strike. Sit at home. Don't go open. Judicial Service not open anything. Judicial Service Union joined the strike. What is JUSUN doing in Abia State? Because they are part of the whole district. Can't they protest and go to that House of Assembly and say, you must swear this man in. We cannot give order there. You tell me that this will not take place. In Pakistan, look at what happened. When this happened, the president came and said, please, from now onwards, it will not happen again. The parliament came and said, if you disobey a court order, you know, on purpose and without any genuine excuse for that, you will go to prison for 7 years. And today, the moment they give an order, once they serve, you see people run up and down. So these are the questions I'm asking. Now the man is helpless. He cannot even, there's what we call fruit of judgment. The fruit of judgment is not when they say fruit of my labor. Then you now have somebody who has gotten the fruit of judgment. Like Onoye said, the fruit of judgment, just like the fruit of your labor. That you have waited patiently, you planted the plantain, stock, and it has grown. Now, when it's time for you to harvest, somebody will come and cut it and keep it and tell you that I am the one that cut that particular plantain. And you are helpless in that situation. See, come on, Nigeria must not lag behind. It's so sad that a speaker who was elected just like the man is about to swear in, is denying him that, and nothing is being done. No, it's sickening, in my own opinion. So look at it now. If the PDP chairman had not raised this now, it means that what is the speaker? Who gave the speaker the baptismal right? The same thing that is happening in Plateau State. In Plateau State, whether rightly or wrongly, the final court has given its judgment and said these people should be sworn in. And a speaker who can even be removed and may not even come back tomorrow when elections come, we say, no, I'm not going to swear them in. Because my personal situation or personal injustifications and shenanigans. Political situation that, no. Are you not trying to say that you have more superior power than the judicature, as the case may be? So it's sickening. I don't know. The best thing is this. I think what this guy needs to do finally is, for me, if I were his lawyers, I will rush back to that court now, without much ado. Because the court has the powers to order for the enforcement of their rulings and orders and judgments. I will rush back to that court and go and inform the court through a motion. I'll just say, see, my Lord, you're giving this, but nothing has gone. Nothing has gone. You sue the commissioner of police for non-enforcement of that particular order. You sue the commissioner of police, sue the AG of the state, sue all of them and take them there. Sue the speaker of the House of Assembly and join him in the suit. Then let we file that motion and go to any of the high courts there, and that they must comply with section 287 sub 3. This level sub 3, 287 sub 2, because 287 sub 1 is for Supreme Court. 287 sub 2 is for the Court of Appeal, that says that it must be obeyed and executed by everybody, and including me and you. Now, people from the constituency can even mobilize to enforce that particular judgment of court by virtue of section 287 sub 2, because it says that even me sitting down here, if I'm affected, I have the right to mobilize, to call on them to enforce that particular order of court. What are the consequences of that man? What are they doing? Looking back? So I don't know. It's sad. I feel so sad for him.
All right. When you talked about one of the solutions you talked about to this matter, where does order of mandamus come into play here?
See, we don't even need that order of mandamus is when you go to court. Mm-hmm. You obtain it. You don't obtain the order of mandamus from the street. You understand? That is making them to do a thing that they ought to have done. You know, telling them to do this is the order. Does order of mandamus even work in Nigeria? Exactly. Even when the Supreme Court said election, look at local governments. Does it work? Supreme Court has ruled on autonomy a number of times, and people wondering why the AG went back to Supreme Court to do what? Even if the order comes and it goes against governors of the state, will they even obey Supreme Court? If they didn't obey the previous ones, why would they obey? So you now mandate them to, you now run to court, you obtain order, Madam will say they must implement. Will they even listen to you? So that is where the problem is. So there must be a conscious effort by the judicature itself. Look at a party. Onoige said this before he left. When Onoige was leaving, he said that the judges, they weep in their chambers when a particular order is given. Look at, I'm sorry I'm taking a little bit. A magistrate in Lagos State was beaten black and blue about a year ago because the order he gave to release somebody on bail, an officer who is a police officer who was in charge of the particular defendant. The court said, release the man. The police officer said, they are not releasing him. The magistrate sat and was conducting the affairs of court. The people ran back, you know, to the magistrate to say, the order you gave just now, release this man. As the man was stepping down, they arrested him and put it back. The man said they will not release him. Prompting the magistrate, who had to, out of emotions, he had to jump into the arena and had to climb down from his hallowed chambers down to where the police officer was holding this defendant. He now said, I gave an order for the release of this young. What is happening? Are you saying that my order is not effective in the place you are? You understand? The policeman told, if you don't leave here, we are going to beat you to, and they beat the man. They beat the magistrate. Do you know what happened to that magistrate at the end of the day? You know? The man said, I am protecting the right of the citizen and the firepower of my order. Police beat him. The NBA came in. Before you knew what was going on, Lagos State government came in through their whatever, the bench came and said that the man disgraced their profession. That why should he leave his office to come under and make sure that his order is enforced? And the man was sacked from work, from being a magistrate in Lagos State. Who came, a member of the bench who came to say he has felt so bitter in his spirit that why am I sitting down if I give an order and you don't obey it? So emotionally, he has been overworked because he said when he gives order they don't obey. Then why am I here? He now had to jump to the arena. You know what they did? They sacked the man. They said he didn't behave like a magistrate. And technicalities to remove him. So they need to do something about this. So that is the situation, my dear.
All right. Barrister, Dr. Emmanuel, what is your take on this?
The facts are simple. It's impunious, clear impunity. But a question more of the fact that there has never been consequences. Mr. Speaker has no immunity. So it's not even a question of him having some veil covering him. Disobedience to court order, it's an offense on its own that can be pursued. A problem is that our legal system, our judiciary itself, is failing us to a large extent because she will not act when she ought to act. Yes, I agree that she cannot make pronouncement without anybody coming to her, even after her pronouncements. That's a simple truth. My fear, but Sassim may need to help us, is that the appeal court for this purpose was a creation of time and has been disbanded after the period. Who will this gentleman run to? A high court, yes, or the same appeal court?
No, not the same appeal court. He goes by, he brings a new suit.
Good.
Good. Including the Commissioner of Police, including the AG of the state, including the Speaker of the House of Assembly of that state. You understand the point now? It's like a civil suit. Bring it against them and sue them.
Now,
then, attaching that particular order of the
Supreme Court. Yes. Now, the usual things for people, and that's where we have the biggest issue. The challenge is the process. All the Speaker is doing is just delay. By law, whether you like it or not, the man's term has started counting. Another very funny dimension. It wouldn't be as if his time will start counting the day he's sworn in. No, his time is counting already. So even when they decide to swear him in at the last day of the legislative period, no, he may go to court like you said and then begin to only get earnings. But his constitutive voice will have been completely killed, as it were. And that's what pushes people to taking laws into their hand. That's what pushes people to take laws into their hand. And part of the things Brother Sassin had advised here was to say the constitution should rise. The question is, when they rise, there are just two things they can do. One is taking a normal legal process of saying somebody is denying our voice being heard. That we have XYZ judgment that says this was whom we chose. Yes, they can do that. But the other one is that they will take the laws into their hand and they go to the assembly and make sure the assembly does not work. But the Speaker cannot even have access to the assembly. The question then will be, what will be the consequence? What could be the outcome for that kind of action that Mr. Speaker is calling for? Because that's what he's actually calling for. Anarchy. Anarchy, brigandage is what he's calling for. We pray Mr. Speaker will reason, will have cause to think of the likely consequences of his actions. Because should anything happen by this denial and gross disobedience to court orders, he and him alone will be responsible. Okay, I'm sure if that council decides to take the laws into our hand, there will be damage to government properties.
Of course.
There may also be loss of life.
Of course.
Mr. Speaker swore to an oath to maintain the values as contained in the Constitution, to protect the Constitution. He is only one among equals. This idea of where we think that, of course, power is transient is one thing most persons that get into office do not really realize. There's only a speaker today. This simple thing can burn Abia State.
So
the governor,
sad.
who is the executive governor, have a serious role to play.
The governor has been silent.
I just said it now.
Because the speaker is working with the
Probably
He has-
because it's the same party.
He has,
Yes.
he has a serious,
Abga.
he has a serious role to play. Let them not play with fire. Abia may burn because of just this matter. He should be careful.
All right.